I'm officially 3 for 3 on being fined by the WNBA.
Holy shit! For this? For the pod? Again?
They didn't like my comments on Paige Becker's.
No way!
I didn't even say anything bad.
On the whistle? On the quick whistle?
Yeah. But like, why? Like,
If we want to talk about Paige, here's a good question.
They fined her for saying Paige Beckers has a good whistle. Like, I kid you not, that is one of the craziest reasons I've seen a player get fined.
What followed was unlike anything the WNBA had seen before. Just days after Cunningham called out the league's fine system, fans rallied to her side, not only as a player, but as a bold truth-teller willing to speak up no matter the risk. Social media exploded with support, labeling her the voice of honesty and urging the league to stop silencing athletes who challenge its narrative. When Cunningham finally spoke about the constant fines tied to nearly every episode of her podcast, her words cut through the polished diplomacy that usually surrounds league disputes, sharp, direct, and impossible to ignore.
There's something seriously wrong with how the W enforces their rules. And I know there's already been a big emphasis on referee inconsistencies, but at the end of the day, the quality of referees is on the WNBA too. Because again, I have no idea where the line is. Because on one hand, I kind of get it. It's normal for a league to fine you if you're going to talk bad about the league or the players in the league. Because that happens all the time in the NBA, NFL, and so on. But on the other hand, why does the league not care about its image when players are standing over and cursing out their opponents on the court? Like, where was the enforcement here? Or where was it here? Or where was it when the whole entire league was bullying your star player? And this stuff is happening all the time in the WNBA, but why is it only called on occasion? Which is why finding Sophie Cunningham every time she has a podcast seems kind of crazy, because the WNBA obviously chooses when and when not to enforce the rule.
What makes Cunningham's situation so troubling is that she isn't being fined for saying anything false, reckless, or inflammatory. She's being punished for making basic, common-sense points about officiating and league operations, the same kind of observations fans, analysts, and broadcasters make every night. The WNBA has created a system where speaking honestly about its own product is treated like a crime. Truth doesn't matter, intent doesn't matter, the penalty is always financial, and the numbers make it hard to see this as coincidence. Cunningham was fined $500 for a TikTok where she simply lip-synced lyrics while referencing referees. She was fined another $1,500 for comments about officiating consistency in the very first episode of her podcast. Most recently, she was hit with yet another fine, this one undisclosed, for pointing out what millions of fans had already noticed. Dallas Wings rookie Paige Buecher seemed to be getting favorable whistles.
Do they, when you get fined, do they put like verbatim, like quote here, like this is why you're being fined and this is why it's this much? Or is it like, hey, quit talking shit on us, Venmo us like 1,500?
What happens is they email our GM, and she pulls me aside and she goes, "Come here, Soph, I have to talk to you." And this was in like front of everybody. And I was like, "What did I do now?" And she just smiled and she goes, "Hey, they're gonna fine you again." They're like, I was like, I even told them, I even credited them that their job was hard. I did say that, and I said that I would not be good at it. I did say that. Like, look at the whole picture. What are we doing?
Let's be clear about what's really happening. This isn't about upholding league standards or protecting reputations. It's about an organization so determined to control its image that it's willing to fine its own athletes for saying the same things fans, analysts, and even legends of the game say every night. The WNBA's treatment of Cunningham is nothing short of shameful. Instead of addressing her legitimate concerns about officiating consistency, expansion priorities, and basic league operations, the league has chosen to impose what feels like a financial gag order. Consider this: Rebecca Lobo herself has publicly acknowledged issues with officiating, yet when a current player points out the same problems, she's hit with an immediate fine, and that's the most alarming part of Cunningham's case. It reveals a league where players are discouraged from speaking honestly about their own sport, where telling the truth comes with a price, and silence is the only safe option.
Cunningham tweeted about getting fined, basically saying that she thinks it's laughable and that the league probably has bigger issues they should be focusing on. Now, WNBA officiating has faced major scrutiny all season long from some of the league's biggest stars and coaches. You can find a ton of articles about it online where they're all calling for more consistency. One of the more quotable examples came from Angel Reese after the Chicago Sky lost to the Minnesota Lynx on July 6th. Reese said that the officiating has to be fixed. She said, "I don't give a you-know-what if I get fined because that stuff is cheap and I'm tired of this stuff." You get the point. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert addressed the officiating ahead of the All-Star game last weekend. She said that it is something that the league is continuing to work on and that they are on it. Engelbert mentioned that
By refusing to stay quiet, even as the fines stack up, Cunningham has exposed a system designed not to fix problems, but to silence dissent. You fining me $500 isn't going to do anything. Then I'll get fined for that, and then I'll get fined for this, and the fines will continue, she said on her podcast, showing she understands exactly what the league is trying to do. This isn't a player who accidentally landed in controversy. It's someone making a conscious choice, transparency over silence, truth over financial security. And fans have responded loudly. Social media has been flooded with comments like, "This league is so messed up. Sophie, keep calling out their nonsense." The takeaway is clear, fans aren't just supporting Cunningham, they're losing faith in a league they increasingly view as dishonest.
She'll happily pay those fines. I think they're only fining like $200 or something. It's something crazy. Like Sophie Cunningham is making millions this year. Players don't get fined for speaking on one another, but every single player in the history of pro basketball has criticised officiating and fined for it. No, she keeps doing the same thing, getting fined for it. She literally said Paige is a good whistle. That is what she said. She said Paige, the Paige fans, my God, Paige fans are fucking nut jobs.
From a business standpoint, the WNBA strategy looks like self-sabotage. Sophie Cunningham has quickly become one of the league's most marketable personalities, amassing a huge social following, hosting a podcast fans treat as must-listen, and offering the kind of authentic voice most leagues dream their players would provide. Yet instead of embracing her as an asset, the league has chosen to treat her as a liability. The contrast with other leagues is striking. In the NBA, players do get fined for criticizing officials, but those penalties are proportional to multi-million-dollar salaries and usually follow heated, inflammatory remarks. In the WNBA, players are being docked hundreds or even thousands of dollars for comments so mild they wouldn't raise eyebrows in any other sport, but the real issue isn't the fines, it's the fear they create. Cunningham's situation has sent a clear message to players: speaking honestly comes with a price. Several insiders admit they share her concerns about officiating and league operations, but they're keeping quiet, worried about becoming the next example. In trying to silence one outspoken player, the league has created a chilling effect that suppresses the very authenticity fans are craving.